You're welcome. You're watching News Central Television. It's time for News Central now. I am Judith at TBO. Sincerest apologies for starting this program 7 minutes late, but let's get started, shall we? And we begin by telling you that 33 persons have been feared killed by suspected herdsmen in coordinated attacks on Gwar West and Upper local government areas of Benue State, leaving many residents missing as the affected communities begin their head count on Monday morning. At about 7 p.m. on Sunday, residents of C. Answa in Naka Town, the headquarters of Gwar West local government area, came under attack by suspected herdsmen, leaving 17 people dead as others fled for their lives. Gwar West has 15 political council wards, and 14 of those have been affected by herdsmen attacks, leaving Naka Town as the safe place to run for the people. But Sunday's attack has compromised public safety at the local government headquarters. Meanwhile, 16 persons were killed in Idi, Kwa, and Anka Pali communities from the neighboring Apa local government area. Very gory scenes there. We're moving now to Enugu, where the family of the trending ritualist, and that is the ritualist from Ezeagu in Enugu State, Onyeka Obu, known as Levi Obieze, has condemned in strong terms the alleged atrocious act the latter is being accused of. Also, the father of the one who would have been his last victim, Ukamaka, before his arrest, Peter Okoroko, and a wife have shared how the situation jolted them when it happened. The community leadership, on its part, has vowed to banish Obo from the community for life. They all attest that community effort played a key role in the rescue of Ukamaka and recovery of the tomb.
Aga wa buru ha ma kandi wa mari ho na eme ihe nge kuni mebo mu no wom ihe o meruru aru mu wa ma ha okwambo gabo na ha na ha ihe o meruru aru
obu aka do mmadụ mmụta nka oju oboju bu ya dị na mma bana ndị ba ya dakpo dagwa mana ono ai were no dibe bobu no na agan no na agan na hem ihe ọjọọ o me nye ọjọọ nwa mere o ba do mo manya ekwe machine wo ya
ke we ship to two machine o ship to machine the next no mezi o bia kwa machine basket aka buru nwam bu ya na machine shagi gasi ike o gasi ike mana riziam amazim ihe ngeme ihe ga-ekwu bụ na Chineke anagoro otuto na ekpere niile na ekpe na Chineke azago onye n'ihe debe nna m azakwugo onye obu madam maka mba obodo agbakọ akụ ekwe ndị obodo agbakọ ma mee ka esi eme na onye ahụ ya apụrụ anyị n'obodo ma gọọmenti ejidere gị ma ụwa anyị nwechidere.
Meanwhile, Enugu State government says it has moved 13-year-old Ukamaka Okonkwo, the rescued kidnapped victim from Ezeagu, to a state-owned rehabilitation facility. The Commissioner for Children, Gender Affairs and Social Development, Ngozi Ani, in a statement said that the action was at the instance of the state governor, Peter Mba. The commissioner said the government understood the girl must have experienced trauma the few hours she spent in captivity and decided to step in by providing a therapy for her. The statement further disclosed that the state government has awarded her scholarship to the university level. News Central's Chinwe Ugeli confirms that Ukwamaka had already or has already been moved from her village by the government. And News Central's correspondent Chinwe Ugeli has been following up on this story, and she joins us live now from Enugu State. Chinwe, well done so far and all the hard work in giving us the latest. Let us know, what more can you tell us at this time?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm standing in front of the Enugu State Police Command. I spoke with the police public relations officer, Ndukwe Daniel, who confirmed that Onyeka Obu has been transferred to the Enugu State Police Command. He also said that investigations are ongoing and that more people are expected to be captured linked to this very case. He also did confirm the handover of some of the men who were arrested by the local vigilance group at Isiago, Ezago local government area to the State Police Command. So far, the police say they are on top of the situation, carrying out investigations. And like you heard, the state government has also taken interest in the case, and they have taken the young girl to be able to rehabilitate her, having gone through that trauma for the number of hours she was in captivity.
Very sad news there. Chinwe, we must say thank you for giving us updates. We will definitely continue to follow you as the story develops. That's Chinwe Ugeli, our correspondent live from Enugu State, giving us a bit of update following the ritual killing allegations against Levi Obieze and the update on the kidnapped girl, and that's Ukamaka Okonkwo. Let's go on a short break, the very first one for this hour. When we return, rights group to protest insecurity, harsh economy on June 12th. We'll bring you the details of this and plenty more just after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's turn our attention now to Niger State, where the death toll from the catastrophic flood continues to climb. Authorities now confirm over 153 lives lost and thousands displaced in Mukwa local government area of the state. According to state authorities, the disaster struck last Wednesday night, submerging homes and forcing over 3,000 residents to flee. The Deputy Governor, Yakubu Garba, confirmed the scale of the devastation, describing the event as one of the deadliest in the state's recent history. Some victims spoke about their experience. Take a look.
I believe hundreds of lives have lost, have missed here. Which up to this moment, this place is still smelling, which we believe that there are still corpses probably under the bridge. I go at night yesterday, about 3 were discovered and removed for proper burial. All this place was buildings. It was buildings, and these buildings have been here for years. And suddenly, this rain that just started, this year rain that started, will come with heavy flood to take away all the houses in this place, and most lives were lost.
In my own in-laws house, they lost 10. Friends. The one I know lost 5, lost 3, lost entire family. Only he remained, only her remained, only the child remained. So that you just tell me 100 or 150 lost, which is not true. That statistic is not right. That's why there's a railway. The depth of the railway is about 30 meters. That is the depth of the railway, which is one that formed the dike. That hold the water for like 2 to 3 hours. Until where the dike, the railway cannot be able to withstand the water in a blast.
Very unfortunate and sad incident. Let's move on, shall we? The Federal High Court chapter of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUNSON, has commenced enforcement of the industrial action declared by its national body. Members of the union on Monday locked out judges, lawyers, staff and litigants from accessing courts in different parts of the country. For instance, all access to the Federal High Court headquarters located along Shehu Shagari Way in Abuja were under lock. Judges, staff, lawyers, litigants, and members of the public were denied access as business activities in and around the court were paralyzed. The national body had on May 30th in the circular by its acting national secretary, MJ Akwashiki, asked all its chapters chairmen to effective from midnight Sunday, June 1st, direct all their members to stay at home. To give us more update, we have Biola Festus, our correspondent, live in Port Harcourt, the capital of Rivers State. Biola, are we seeing the same in Rivers as well?
Good afternoon, Jordan. Yeah, the strike by Justin is in full swing here in River State as the Court of Appeal. We are currently at the Court of Appeal. And on their gate there is written strike, 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 go home. We were also at the Federal High Court here in Port Harcourt, and the same thing applies. The gates have been locked, barring both litigants and lawyers from entering into the court premises. We have on standby here the representative of the school in the Court of Appeal in River State, who has been on the ground to make sure that the strike action is adhered to by members. Although there is no demonstration, but there has been no activities going on right here at the appeal court. We have him on standby. Let's hear from him. He spoke to me earlier.
Good afternoon. You are welcome. I am Comrade Kennedy Simon Obilogwu, the Josun Port Harcourt Division representative. Early this morning, precisely by 1 a.m., my executive leaders, national, sent me a memo and gave me a directive that this gate, this Court of Appeal, should be under lock and key, based on the fact that we have been denied all we are supposed to be given. Ever since the 70 new minimum wage was pronounced and implemented, they have not implemented on us. We have not received a dime. Not only that, we have the 35% arrears and 25% arrears. They keep promising. Each month they say next month, come that one, they say next month. They keep promising with fail. And so we have decided to take the bull by the horn. So this gate will remain like this until our cry, our voice is taken to the authority concerned, so that they must do something. Most of our staff have retired, who will have benefited from the new minimum wage. Not to talk of those who are late. Some are late. So tell me, how will you continue to live like we all have children? We go to the same market, we go to the same school, we do the same activities, and we are being denied. Look at the state that are being paid, taken care of, and every day we say we are federal. What is federal about? Without we being given our due benefits. So the leadership say enough is enough, in conjunction with all of our divisions. So since morning 4 o'clock, I've been here to make sure that this place is under seal, and we are sealing. And so will it remain until directives from national.
Thank you so much. That was the representative of Josun at the appeal court here in Port Harcourt. Now, since we started monitoring this strike action, we've had some lawyers come around and they met the court premises locked. They didn't know that the strike action was going to happen. We have one of them, a lawyer, standing by here, who came for a photo.
Unfortunately, we lost BRFS's visuals. They were trying to bring more updates in our subsequent bulletins. In the meantime, still on judicial matters, suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is expected in court on Tuesday following a summons over criminal defamation charges. Her lead counsel, West Idahosa, senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, confirmed her appearance, saying the senator remains committed to obeying court directives. The federal government accuses Akpoti-Uduaghan of making defamatory claims during a TV appearance and a private call targeting Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former Kogi Governor Yahaya Bello. The charges filed on May 16th allege she spoke of a plot to assassinate her and linked Akpabio to organ harvesting. Idahosa says the legal team is prepared for any court proceedings, but remains unsure if the government intends to arraign her on Tuesday. Key witnesses in the case include Akpabio and Bello. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has issued a strong warning to property owners in Abuja, urging them to pay their levies or risk losing their properties. Speaking during a media parley, Wike emphasized that the FCT administration will no longer tolerate tax evasion, stressing that revenue from property taxes is vital for infrastructure and public services. He made it clear that the government has the authority to reclaim properties from defaulters if necessary. Wike called on residents and estate owners to comply promptly, saying that enforcement measures would be strictly implemented in the coming weeks.
You paid for 2 years, for example. Your tenancy will expire tomorrow. You are coming to tell the landlord, because it not remind you, it's the duty of the landlord now to not remind you. You see, now you are shifting it to the landlord, but that's not the case here. You have a CFO, and the CFO says you will be paying annually for you to continue to keep that property. That already says 100,000, 200,000, as the case may be. And you are not saying again, some people may not have the financial reason to keep to it. We are talking about central business area. We are talking about Maitama. We are talking about Wuse 1, Wuse 2. We are talking about Asokoro. How many poor people live here? Tell me, how many poor people live here? Most of them live their own property overseas. But they remember that they must pay their taxes. If they don't pay their taxes, government will take over property. Here in Nigeria, no, nothing will happen. Is this attitude of nothing will happen? Is this attitude of religion and ethnicity that has killed us and has kept us where we are?
Away from the capital, the Take It Back movement has announced plans to hold a nationwide protest on June 12th to announce or to draw attention to the country's worsening insecurity, shrinking civic space, and growing economic hardship. In a statement on Monday by its national coordinator, Juwon Sayolu, the movement condemned the rising wave of insecurity in the middle belt and northern parts of the country. According to Sayolu, communities have been wiped out while thousands remain displaced, with the government either turning a blind eye or denying the scale of the carnage. He also criticized the federal government's alleged crackdown on dissent, citing arrest of protesters, detention of activists, and the targeting of journalists and social media users under the Cybercrime Act. A lot of demands there. Well, joining us to speak more on this, we have the national coordinator, Take It Back movement, Juwon Sayolu. Juwon, it's good to have you join us. Thank you so much for being patient and being here. What are the specifics of this movement? We saw something similar, and that was End Bad Governance. What's the difference? What's the short-term and long-term policy demands of the June 12th protests?
Okay, yeah. So as we said earlier, let me even give a bit of a premise. Because, you know, some of the news you've read here today, I've heard words like trauma. I've heard words like destruction, catastrophe, and death. These words came repeatedly in your news today. That is the scorecard of President Tinubu's government over the last 2 years. What we have witnessed over the last 2 years is complete breakdown in governance. And why did I say this? Why did I make this assertion? By virtue of even the Constitution of Nigeria, security and welfare shall be primary responsibility of government. But what is the state of Nigeria security today? According to a report by Amnesty, recently published report, over 10,000 people have been killed.
Yeah, but the Nigerian army has flaunted that report.
I'm going there. Over 450,000 persons have been displaced in places like Benue. Over 60,000 in Plateau State. Welfare of the Nigerian people, we have experienced nothing other than poverty. As a matter of fact, according to their friends in the World Bank said 129 million Nigerians are living below the poverty line. Some reports even said 133 million people, but between you and I, we know that's even a much more conservative figure. the reality are more destructive and catastrophic, even more than the official figures. So this puts into context the reason we are going into a protest on June 12th, which coincidentally represents democracy. But what have we even witnessed under this democracy with regards to even basic rights? What we have seen under Tinubu's 2 years government is a complete rollback from all the democratic concessions, blood and sweat of young people who had fought doggedly for the democracy. Some of these people, have completely mismanaged. We have seen massive repression of the civic space. As a matter of fact, freedom of speech, freedom of expression is under attack. Under the government of Tinubu, the right to protest is synonymous to treasonable felony. As a matter of fact, the government attempted to try children for treason. Under the government of Tinubu, 30 of them were detained, for days in police custody, starved. They were collapsing in court. So, under the government of Tinubu, the Cybercrime Act has been used as a weapon to attack people who are expressing dissent and who have been the victims of Tinubu's Cybercrime Act. Journalists, activists, and even young people on social media. And the examples are numerous. Today, today, as I tell you today, Shore's passports has been seized by a federal judge. Why? Because Shore expressed on social media that the Inspector General of Police is occupying his position illegally. So Shore's passport is seized because of it. So this is the character of the democracy, the type of governance we have witnessed over the last 2 years under the government of Tinubu, and that's why we are coming out to protest, to demand fundamental change.
Leading up to August 1st protest that we saw last year, and saw how tight it was. There were designated areas for the protest to happen, heavy security presence. One has to ask, how will this protest be coordinated? Is it just going to be a one-day event? Will it be a 10-day event? How are you going to coordinate this protest in a way where lives will be saved, properties will be saved, and everyone who joins you from your Take It Back movement, goes out to protest, can go back home in one piece?
It is the responsibility of government to secure lives and property of Nigerians, including protesters, who, by the way, are Nigerians coming to exercise their right to peaceful protest. So for as long as Nigerians decide to engage in this protest, which in this case may be synonymous with the fact that until they feel satisfactorily that their demands are met, or at the very best, listen to, these are constitutional rights, and the police is mandated not by choice but by law to recognize this law and to ensure that Nigerians who are coming to protest are not attacked, or neither are their properties destroyed, arrested, defamed, or framed for exercising their right to protest. So this is, I think this is
again, because we're pressed for time here.
Yeah.
When it comes to insecurity, the presidency has said that he's asked all the state governors to take charge. He's asked all the security heads and chiefs to all work together collectively. When it comes to the issue of the matter is in court, and again, it's court ruling, so we cannot talk about that, which is sure. And so we've seen some sort of body language from the government, which is, he put out a speech during August 1st, the presidency. He's working, in some way to see that every state governor takes charge when it comes to the insecurity issue. Should we give them enough time? Just a little bit more. I mean, August was just, how many months ago? 8 months ago, thereabout? Can we give them just a little bit more time?
No, Nigerians don't have time. We've given them more than enough time. Nigerians are dying, not in hundreds, but they are dying in thousands, right? whereas the people who we elected, who Nigerians elected to protect them, these people like the president of the country, has one of the best security architecture protecting men in the world, right? The same thing with most governors. Most governors today, most politicians, members of House of Assembly, even councillors are protected by police. So they don't get to worry about insecurity. So it is comfortable and can be enough for them to say, oh, let Nigerians be patient. But Nigerians who are on daily basis victims of armed robbery, victims of insecurity, banditry. You know, as a matter of fact, aside from the fact that the government has been unable to address the massive insecurity he met in 2023, he had even added other insurgents to the pool of insecurity. We have seen some rise in Sokoto. We have seen another group in Kwara. So Nigerians. So I think the question of fixing the security in the country is not a debate. That is why I said in my earlier statement that what we have witnessed under the government of Tinubu is complete breakdown in governance. And who is to be held responsible? The commander-in-chief of the armed forces, President Tinubu, is to be held accountable for this. And this is the reason we are coming out to protest.
All right.
Yeah.
Juwon, I must say thank you for taking out the time to join us. We appreciate you for coming on. Juwon Sanyolu, he is the national coordinator for the Take It Back movement as they gear up to protest against the harsh economy and insecurity on June 12th. Now we'll switch gears now back to the capital where we have Sagir Ibrahim, our National Assembly correspondent, on standby all the way. He joins us following the Federal High Court chapter of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUNSON, as they've commenced enforcement of the industrial action declared by its national body. Now all of the courts have been closed off, shut down completely. Lawyers and judges cannot join us. Before we try to connect with Sagir, I understand that Biola is live. Biola, can you hear me? All right. Let's hear from Biola first. Whilst we try to fix Biola's audio there, we will bring you the latest from Biola in Rivers and, of course, in Abuja as well. But first, let's go on a short break, shall we? When we return, there's plenty more. Stay with us. Welcome back. We switch gears now to Borno State, Maiduguri, the capital, where communities around the Army Detention Facility in Maiduguri have demanded the immediate relocation of the barracks out of the community. Now, the facility known as Giwa Barracks is located in the Jare local government area of Borno State. Residents of the host communities decried the risk level they are being exposed to living near the detention facility. According to the chairman of Galtimari Consultative Forum, that's Zana Bunguma, Giwa Barracks has been a target for Borno or for Boko Haram terrorists who have continually attacked the facility in an attempt to free their members. He said the call was driven by the need to protect lives, reduce civilian exposure to insurgent attacks, and allow the military to operate in a more controlled and secure environment. This call came after an explosion that rocked the Army Armory at the Giwa Barracks about a month ago. The commander of the 551 Nigerian Air Force, JOS, and that's Air Commodore Bamidele Amuda, has restated the need for officers and personnel of the command to always keep fit and be combat ready. Amuda was speaking at the 551 Air Force headquarters in Jos, Plateau State, while addressing personnel of the command at the end of their periodic 10-kilometer route march exercise. News Central Chizoba Niwe reports that the march, which began from the Air Force headquarters through the popular Old Airport roundabout and Abattoir Road in Jos back to the Air Force headquarters, is a show of commitment to fiscal preparedness and national security awareness.
This annual exercise and something that we must do to prove that we are still fit, and so that anytime, any day, we are called upon, we are ready to face challenges. Don't wait until the day we call you out for exercise before you exercise yourself. This is for your benefit. not for the chief of air staff, not for the commander or the commandant, but to keep yourself fit and be equal to that.
Let's circle back to Port Harcourt, the capital of River State, where we have Biola on standby, giving us the latest as Junson has locked out the federal high courts, their judges, lawyers, and litigates as well. Biola, can you hear us? Right, fantastic. Biola, please continue. Earlier, you wanted to speak to one of the lawyers there.
Yeah.
Issues with her audio that the connectivity is bad. We'll try to fix it. But anyway, let's move away from that, shall we? And back to the capital, where the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has tasked residents of the capital to protect infrastructure placed, in their communities by the federal government. While inspecting several roads and projects in Kwali and Wari area councils, he urged citizens to partner with the police so as to effectively tackle insecurity within Abuja. Also, the former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Chibudum Nwoche, commended the minister for efforts being put in place to ensure there is adequate infrastructure around the capital.
Abuja is becoming something else, you know. It's a world-class city, and the developments are such that it covers both the urban and rural areas. Like at the valley, we saw a lot of places for farmlands with waters and co. So I think Abuja come back to life. We should commend the minister for putting his heart to the job, and commend the president for giving all the support that he requires for this wonderful feats achieved so far. If we had been at this pace from 1999, Abuja would have long ago been much more than where it is today. You know, I've seen many ministers come and go, but this is the one that really has made a great impact on the nation's capital.
It will be wrong, and we'll come back here tomorrow. You hear that one of the poles have been vandalized, the wires have been taken away. If we own this property, this is our community, it will not happen. So our prayer is that for them to enjoy it, for government to think that yes, they deserve it, they should also play their own role by making sure they protect this infrastructure.
Back to the capital, still in the capital, but this time our correspondent Sagir Ibrahim joins us live now following Junson's action, industrial action as they lock out the Federal High Court judges, lawyers and litigants. Sagir, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, I can.
All right, go ahead. What's the latest with you in the capital?
Yes, I spoke up to locked courtrooms and also locked court facilities. The pictures on your screen, of course, is scenes from the Federal High Court earlier this morning when Nigerians, lawyers, and other legal practitioners, had tried accessing these facilities, but unfortunately they made the sign on the gates Jusun on strike. Of course, the issue is about welfare. It's about an increase in an implementation of the minimum wage. Since its passage, they are complaining that it has not been implemented for judicial workers. They are also complaining that between 25 to 35% of wage award given to them has still not been implemented. They claim that they've been, on the negotiating table with the federal government time and time again. In fact, as recently as between 24 hours to 48 hours ago. And unfortunately, these demands, were not met, driving them to make this decision to down their tools until, action is taken to ensure that all of these demands are met.
To speak to any of the members of the court, maybe the judges, the lawyers, or the litigates, and what do they have to say? What's the mood like with them?
Well, unfortunately, quite a number of them were not present as at the time because out of frustration, they had to walk away. There's not going to be a compromise from the judiciary workers. So for those who were present at the premises, for instance, at the Supreme Court, it's
business as usual. The Supreme Court is not shut. The activities of the National Judicial Council is on as usual as well, because around 24 hours ago, they withdrew from the court action. In fact, I spoke with the chairman of the Judicial Workers Union at the Supreme Court chapter, and he had explained to me that they had to take that action because it was going to be unfair for Nigerians to come from the different parts of the country, including those who will be coming from the diaspora, to access the Supreme Court and services there, only to find out that the apex court is shut and has gone on strike. So they consider the sensitivity and the sensibilities of Nigerians and felt it is important for the Supreme Court to continue action. But it's a different ball game across the Court of Appeal, the Federal High Court, and even the FCT High Court.
All right.
We are at the National Industrial Court, as you can see. It looks like a ghost town. Not much is going on here. There is a notice, as a matter of fact, just in front of the gate, stating that activities here will not be going on as usual because Jusun is on strike. So these are the dynamics that have been playing out since the commencement of this strike. We also spoke to, of course, some Nigerians who expressed frustration. Some saying they came all the way from Gwagwalada, the outskirts of Abuja into the city center, could not access any of the services there and would have to go and come back. When will they be returning? Only
time
God
will
knows
tell
when.
Thank you, Ibrahim there, our correspondent live from Abuja. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, there's plenty more. Stay with us. And welcome back. We spotlight on a crisis that continues to grip South Africa, the alarming rise of gender-based violence and the tragic kidnapping of women across the country. Recently, the heartbreaking story of Olerato Mungali has shocked the nation. Lured by what appeared to be a harmless invitation for a date, she was ultimately murdered, which is an indication that women in South Africa may have a rethink about their safety. The story is just one of many, as countless women wake up every day living under the shadow of danger, facing violence, harassment, and the threat of kidnapping. And now to discuss this further, we're joined by Cameron Kasambala, is a manager for women. She's a manager for Women for Change. Cameron, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you for doing this with us. I mean, there's a rise of GBV, gender-based violence and kidnappings of women in South Africa. Are there any primary factors contributing to this surge? Let's start there.
Thank you for having me. I think that this is a multi-layered problem. I don't think it's just one cause. And I think as an organization, Women for Change, we get these cases multiple times a day, every day. So it's not something that we see as a surge. We see it as people are finally noticing. And this is one of the cases where attention is being brought to this problem. And I think specifically in the case of Olerato, these men were out on bail for a previous instance of kidnapping. So again, it's showing one of the issues, which is the weak law enforcement. I think there's a lot of issues with the way police handle these cases. So perpetrators feel very emboldened, to do these things because they know that A, they won't get arrested, or B, even if they do, no further action will be taken. And then I think in South Africa specifically, there's a very violent history that they have had. And so there's a lot of normalization of violent behavior, I think, that we are subjected to. And because of the patriarchal norms and the gender inequality, this violence against women is very much overlooked and treated as not that serious. And I think another issue would also be the economic stress. There's a lot of unemployment in South Africa. I think it's about 32.9%. And this means that there's a lot of high crime and a lot of crisis because, crime is exacerbated by poverty because you go to more extreme measures. So you're thinking kidnappings for ransom, kidnappings for trafficking. So there's quite a big issue. And then I think as well, the final one I would mention is the urbanization. So with a lot of the overcrowding in these township areas, there's a lot of under-policed areas. So there's not a lot of police supervision, which allows for there to be much higher crime rates. And so we see a lot more of these kidnappings happening in those kind of areas.
I mean, femicide has also been an issue for whether it's East Africa or the African continent entirely. I wish we could continue this discussion, Cameron, but I know that we'll continue another time. I must say thank you for joining us, Cameron. They're joining us all the way live from South Africa, giving us that update. We switch gears now to bring you our international correspondent, Afia Hagen, as the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has announced that the UK military is shifting towards war-fighting readiness as part of new defense strategy. And Afia Hagen joins us now with the latest. Afia, what can you tell us about this new strategy that Starmer is implementing or stressing on?
Yes, that's right. This strategy was announced this morning in Glasgow, where Keir Starmer is on the campaign trail, and he said the UK's armed forces must move to war-fighting readiness over the next few years. The Prime Minister wants our military to innovate at wartime pace, with billions being invested in AI and cybersecurity. He's announced 6 new munitions factories, 12 new nuclear attack submarines, and investment in air and missile systems as well. The PM also went on to say that every citizen has a role to play, saying the UK faces a more serious, more immediate threat than any time since the Cold War. It looks like a really radical review in defence.
Radical indeed. Afia, we will have you at 6 for more update on this. We appreciate you for joining us. Afia Hagen, the international correspondent, giving us a bit of insight following UK's unveiling major revamp for war-fighting readiness. Well, that's all we can take at this hour. Now, do remember that if you see anything out there on the roads, make sure to send us your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number now showing on the screen. And do follow us on social media. We're at News Central TV on all social media platforms. You can always watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Go TV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Apple TV, and you can stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith at TVC at 6.